Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning in. With this project update, we'll review the challenges a rapidly growing generative AI startup had and how we help them move from chaos to order, or at least a more controlled chaos. Charles is the founder of KebGPT, a generative AI startup based in Quebec. Charles faced the same challenges as most startups, but in the hyper-paced environment of generative AI. As a key success driver for their organization, Charles wanted one place where he could effectively manage the work of the organization, from sales and marketing to financials to technical development to ongoing training for the team. In terms of existing processes and tools to manage work, KebGPT was largely a blank canvas, as they had just started feeling the rapid growth resulting from the rise in popularity of generative AI. Charles selected focused partners to address these challenges. Those of you familiar with our approach know that tools are the last thing we look at, because effectively managing work requires focus on people and processes first. After all, tools are only as good as the processes they support. Only by understanding the unique people on the team and clearly defining the right processes for the organization can you determine the right configuration of the right tools. So, people first. When discussing the rapidly growing team, it became clear that there would be a core set of team members who could be tasked with planning, prioritizing, and tracking the work performed by the rest of the team. The rest of that team consisted of a mix of developers, administrative staff, sales and marketing, so forth. With this framework for a core team leading a geographically diverse set of remote team members, we were then able to dive into process definition. We selected an agile Kanban approach to managing work. We first categorized the types of work the team performed and then defined specific workflows for each category. For example, a project to develop a custom solution for a client went through one workflow, while financial tasks such as accounts payable or receivables and tax filings had a different workflow. The key ceremony we implemented was a core team meeting every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to plan and prioritize the work. This meeting typically took 30 to 60 minutes initially as we worked through the process refinement, but was down to about 15 to 30 minutes once the process stabilized. Once the people and process dimensions were clearly defined, we selected JIRA as the tool to manage the work and Slack as the primary communication or collaboration tool. Both were selected largely due to the team's prior familiarity with the tools, as well as the relatively low barriers to entry, including price point. All right, so with that background, let's move into the demo. The first couple of concepts will be demoed with screenshots for the added visualizations before we get to the live demo. We grouped the types of work the organization had into buckets for internal tasks and client engagements. Internal tasks were then broken down further based upon differences in the specific teams that would perform the work and/or the flow for a type of work. In this case, we ended up with 3 different internal buckets and a project for each large client engagement. Each project has a board and a workflow. The different boards and workflows allow similar types of work to be viewed together without the clutter of different types of work intermingled. Tasks from each board can be assigned to any team member, allowing handoffs from one team to another, such as from sales to development. Looking at the financial workflow first, you'll notice it is as simple as it gets because the tasks are largely transactional. Work gets logged into the to-do status. At the appropriate time, it is moved to in progress and then to done. For large client engagements, you'll see we decided to add a backlog step in workflow. This allowed the team to log all known work for the engagement in the backlog. When the core team meets each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, they identify any task ready to move into the to-do phase, letting the development team know that they can start work on these tasks as soon as they have the capacity. Development team members then pull the task into in progress to work and move them to done once complete. Likewise, the other internal boards for administrative marketing and tracking the sales process have customized workflows designed to allow the core team members to plan effectively, the dev team to have a clear view of work on their plate, and for leadership to quickly see what is happening in each area. You may notice that each workflow step is color-coded. The gray steps map to JIRA's default to do, while the blue tasks map to in progress, and green tasks map to done. This mapping allows cross-functional boards such as this one to be created. With this board, leadership can view all tasks, regardless of bucket or project, in one screen. Collapsible swim lanes for priority allow leadership to focus on the most critical tasks. QuebGPT uses this board at the end of each core team planning session as a reality check for what they've prioritized on each project. Finally, let's take a quick look at how fields were customized for tasks. QuebGPT identified 3 key dates to use on most projects: target date, deployment date, and due date. In this case, due date is used as the due date for the next step in the task or the subtask, where the deployment due date gives the time frame for the work being moved to done. To limit the number of cards that need to be created, we implemented a free third-party checklist app to track detailed actions within a task. As you can see, a single checklist can have tasks for multiple steps of the workflow. In this case, we can see tasks for the plan phase, the dev phase, and the closeout phase, allowing all the work to be tracked within a single ticket. I hope you've enjoyed the video and learned something along the way. If you have any questions about generative AI, please reach out to our friends at QuebGPT. If you have any questions about improving how your organization manages work, or if you have a strategic project to deliver, I look forward to talking with you. Thank you, and may all of your projects have successful outcomes.